mode. We'll shift the radar down just a bit. We'll do a storm track for you with this one with a potential of 70, 75 mile per hour winds of over 30 miles per hour moving to the north-northeast. So Elgin in your neighborhood at 10:13. And then Thrall, if that holds together, which these have not shown much signs of weakening, Thrall at 10:48.
Yeah, very good. Just one quick note on that circulation, the tornado that we were watching in the Burnett-Williamson County line, the rotation has broadened a little bit.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's good news. When we say it's broadened, it means it's not as tight, it's not as circular. So basically the storm isn't holding together quite as tightly as it was earlier. That's good news on our end. That's good news for the folks. They're sitting in Briggs as the storm moves towards the north.
Yeah, so broad rotation, something to keep an eye on. I got to tell you, with that radar signature, probably not going to see a tornado with that, but still there are some intense winds extending out of this thunderstorm, moving up towards the north and northeast pretty quickly. Georgetown, you are now under the gun for the potential of 60 mile per hour winds. It's right on your doorstep. It's along I-35 just south of downtown, and we're talking about the potential of wind speeds around 60 miles per hour.
And, you know, we're talking about how strong these wind gusts are, and that's going to be the immediate danger, not to mention a lot of lightning with these storms, but also very heavy rain. New flash flood warning now for Bastrop and Lee counties.
Okay.
We're seeing, it said, the LCRA gauge to Onion Creek near 183 reported almost just over half an inch of rain in 15 minutes.
Wow.
That's intense rain, coming down very quickly, and rain like that is going to cause flash flooding. Again, think of all the rain we've seen recently. The ground is saturated, so it can't take that much more. So it's very quickly going to run into streams, into rivers, into lakes, and swell. In fact, you have the rainfall accumulation map.
Yeah, because flash flood threat is a big issue. Let me show you rainfall accumulations according to Doppler radar, and you can tell the hot spot is the Blanco area. My goodness.
There is an unverified report coming down on that tornado that tornado threat we were tracking near Briggs.
Yep.
That there were power flashes and the sound of an exploding transformer northwest around from where the storm spotter is. So again, that's not verified, but what that says is possibly
Could even be a lightning strike.
Could be a lightning strike, absolutely.
Okay, 57 mile per hour wind gust. That's at Lake Pflugerville?
Correct.
That's at Lake Pflugerville here in the last few minutes. So 57 mile per hour wind gust just reported at Lake Pflugerville. I can show you exactly where that is. That's going to be in this part of Pflugerville. Okay, back off towards the east of 130 and all that subdivision. So I got to tell you, the Doppler radar is doing a great job, and we're starting to see them jive with these reports that are coming in. So if you're just now joining us, 9:56, and what we're tracking is not only a severe weather threat, a tornado threat, but also the potential of tornadoes. We do have that tornado warning that does continue for far eastern areas of Burnett County, far western areas of Williamson County. This thunderstorm right here, it's broad rotation just south of Briggs. We're going to keep an eye on that, but it doesn't look as tight as it was, and that's good news. Again, 57 mile per hour wind gusts reported with this thunderstorm at Lake Pflugerville. Also moving into the Georgetown area, the potential of 60 mile per hour winds moving right through Georgetown right now. There you see it. If you look at the far left of your screen, I have the scale for you. So anytime we get into the yellows, that's 60 miles per hour. So that's Georgetown area. That's moving up towards the north-northeast, right along I-35. So straight line wind threat there. Also have a pocket of very heavy winds, 55, 60 mile per hour winds moving into Hutto right now. So right along Highway 79 in the Hutto area. Down to the south of there, some very intense winds right on the county line of northeastern Travis, extreme southeastern areas of Williamson County. And that's going to be crossing Texas 95 just south of Taylor here in the next few minutes. So again, it's these hot spots.
Now you were talking about Pflugerville earlier. Report a 57 mile an hour wind speed.
Yeah, they're at the Lake Pflugerville. Yeah. So I'm telling you, our Doppler radar and these ground reports are jiving. This one in northern areas of Bastrop County. This is potential of 60 mile per hour winds there. We'll put a query on there just to be sure. Yep, right at 60 miles per hour. That's about to cross Texas 95. So we got two big thunderstorms about to cross 95. One north of Elgin, one south of Elgin. There you see it. Let's move down to the south. There's going to be some wind gusts around 50 miles per hour back off towards the west of Bastrop, where 21 and 71 intersect. So just outside of Bastrop, some pretty strong winds. 55, maybe some pockets of gusts to 60 miles per hour around Red Rock. Southward into Caldwell County, we still have some pretty gusty winds as well. So what we have been taking a look there are the Doppler winds, and that's giving us a great indication of the severe weather threat that continues. And here's a look at that reflectivity. There's that
line.
bow, as we've been saying.
moving right over Bastrop now. And there are reports now that they're letting water out of the Max Starkey Dam in Marble Falls. So that just indicates that there's been a lot of rainfall in the area, and that's going to continue to kind of just come down the line.
Okay, they're continuing that tornado warning. They're just telling us for that Burnett County storm that is moving up towards the north now at 15 miles per hour. So I'm going to track that. Can you find out? Okay, so they're going to extend that tornado watch.
Right.
And that's probably a good idea.
Till 9 p.m. That's right, because that tornado watch was in effect until...
Well, till 9 Universal time. So that's going to be in the overnight hours.
Yeah, which is smart. I mean, this weather system isn't completely done, and we are getting those spin ups still. So we're going to be watching those things very closely as this system continues to roll into our eastern counties. Now, again, Max Storm Radar, we pulled up that what is now that tornado warning still for Burnett and Williamson County, pushing towards the north towards Briggs. And so we'll be watching this circulation. It's possible that with a line like this, we get that tight circulation for a short amount of time and then it broadens, but sometimes it tightens back up. So that's something we're going to be looking at pretty closely.
Yeah, that's moving to the north at 15 miles per hour. And that's going to put it in Briggs here at about 10:16. So broad rotation, but they're going to continue that tornado warning until 10:15. It's 10 o'clock. You're watching KVUE News Night Beat, the Saturday edition. I'm meteorologist Ramon. There you see Lynae Miyer. We are tracking a severe weather event that is now moving through Central Texas. Yeah,
so let's go ahead and, if we can, Albert, just kind of look at the broad picture. I just want to give everyone in our viewing area an idea of what's coming into their region. The line of big thunderstorms has moved through now Travis County, moving through Williamson County and Hayes County. So now it's entering Lee, Bastrop counties, areas that have seen a lot of significant rainfall the last couple of weeks. So now flash flood warning on the way. And we're actually going to go out to Christy Millward, one of our reporters in the storm chaser. She's out live checking kind of what's happening out on the ground. So we've sent her out to where we've seen some of the heavier rainfall. And I think we're going to pull her up in just a minute if Christy is around.
That's because, let me show you here, these power lines were knocked down when we saw some strong winds come through here. I don't know how well you can see, but this pole was actually snapped in half, and so these lines are down. Emergency crews tell us they are across the road, hence why they had to close down 290. Now, to give you an idea of kind of where we are, we're just near Sunset Canyon Drive. So we're actually in the parking lot here of the Sunset Canyon Veterinary Clinic, which they just came outside and said they checked on the animals. So luckily, animals inside there are okay. People nearby did tell me that the power was out for a little while. We hear it is back on, so we're not exactly for sure what kind of lines these are at this moment, but I am getting some reports in Driftwood that their power is out there and has been for a little while. Crews are out here now. We just saw them on scene working to fix this, but we do not know how long that may take to get this stuff back up. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Christy. Appreciate that. And that's going to be the problem that we see across, especially as the sun begins to rise. We're going to get a good idea of these straight line winds as they move through, how strong those winds were, and then how much damage is done. And I'm guessing a lot of people will be without power in certain spots. Here's a look at our current watches. Flash flood watch continues for the majority of the area until tomorrow evening, and the tornado watch still in effect for all of Central Texas until 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. So we're still going to be dealing with this for a little while longer. Here's the latest look on our Max Storm Radar as these storms continue to rumble through the area. Look at the intense lightning with them as they continue to move through. And I think this is what we're going to continue to see for the next few hours anyway. Possibly some redevelopment back out to the west. That's something we're going to watch closely during the overnight hours. But now the threat moves from the strong straight line winds until eventually some very heavy rainfall and flash flooding. And again, this tornado warning still on the board for Williamson and Burnett County, moving towards the north at about 15 miles an hour. So in the Briggs area, we've seen circulation that's broad and then it's tightened and then become broad again. So we're going to watch this one pretty closely as well as this tornado warning continues until 10:15. So Ocala and Briggs as well. You're kind of in the line for those storms. Albert, have you seen anything else come down as far as some of the damage?
No, we haven't got any reports of damage just yet, but we have had ground reports. Let me zoom out and tell you, we've got 2 ground reports of wind gusts. One was at ABIA, and that was of a 75-mile-per-hour wind. The other one was at Lake Pflugerville. That's back off towards the east of 130, and that was a 67-mile-per-hour wind. So just in that storm that you were just talking about,
Right.
they're going to cancel the tornado warning for that Burnett Williamson County storm because they're not seeing the tight rotation.
Yeah.
But just because the severe weather threat, the tornado threat is going away, straight line wind threat still with us.
And you and I have been talking about this. These pockets of yellow you see here kind of indicating where the strongest winds are. When we're looking at velocity, we're looking at Doppler winds. So we're seeing how fast those winds are moving. These yellow kind of give us an indication with what we have out here, this little bar, 50, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. We had reports at Bergstrom International earlier of a 75 mile an hour wind gust with these storms, and that's enough to do damage. Another little pocket popping up right here in Sun City, Albert.
Yep, that's Sun City. That's moving up towards the northeast. Again, Doppler radar winds are telling us just how fast the winds could be, and these have been really good. We're talking 58 to 60 mile per hour winds moving into Sun City right now.
That's right. So moving across I-35, and then this is not the only area that we're seeing those intense wind speeds. We're seeing these pockets, as you've been kind of pointing out, all across the board. So here in Hutto, Pflugerville just a few minutes ago, now in Hutto, moving towards Circleville and Taylor, just south of Taylor on I-95. We're seeing some very strong gusty winds, possibly up to 60, 70 mile an hour wind speeds in that cluster.
Yeah, that's showing maybe as high as 64
There we go.
mile per hour winds. That thunderstorm warning canceled for Williamson County and Burnett County. The tornado warning, tornado warning, that has been canceled. They've let that one go. The Taylor area, that's right along Texas 95. That storm is moving up towards the northeast. That's going to be moving into Taylor the next few minutes, crossing Highway 79. Again, possibility of 60 to 65 mile per hour winds with that storm.
Can we go ahead and take I just want to look at the entire storm section and just, again, see kind of where these storms have moved. The green, again, indicating sort of the lighter rain, the more intense rain in the red bands, and then see this bowing. So we've been talking about these straight line winds, these winds that come straight out of the storm. They're not tornadic winds, they don't swirl around, but they can do almost as much damage, knocking down power poles, taking off roofs. So we're talking about very strong winds. And when we see that bowing, what we call a bowing, where it goes from a line out like this to almost a circle C, that's where we see those intense winds coming out. So that's what Albert was pointing out here. These yellow pockets on our Doppler winds are showing us where the strongest winds are located right now. Elgin, Bastrop, down further south. So that if you know you live around this area along these lines, just be ready. Be inside the interior of your house. We always say that go to the interior part of your house for a tornado lowest level. But with straight line winds like this, we still see damage. So we ask you once again to go to the interior portion of your home. Stay away from windows with all the lightning as well. This is still a pretty serious event moving through central Texas.
Just want to remind you of the warnings that are in place. There's no tornado warning right now. That was just canceled for that Williamson-Burnett County storm, but a severe thunderstorm warning continues for much of Williamson, much of the eastern half of Bastrop, all of Lee, good chunk of Fayette County, and that's until 10:45.
10:45, and then again that flash flood watch behind it, and that we're not quite done with the threat for heavy rainfall. I mean, that's going to be coming. In fact, we may see even another line come in during the overnight period. I think as we head into the day on Sunday, we're actually going to get a little bit of a break. This weather system really exhausting the atmosphere of a lot of the energy it had in place. So after it rolls through, maybe some redevelopment to the south and out to the west. So we'll kind of watch this line. Now, one of the weather models, Albert, you said, saw it strengthening.
Yeah, I can show that to you right now. This is going to be the 6-hour future radar, okay? So that's going to take us, let's do this together.
Okay.
Let's go to 11 o'clock, and there we still got heavy pockets of rain across the area, okay?
That's what we're dealing with right now.
Let's go to midnight, still heavy pockets of rain across the area. This is our high resolution model that is updated every hour. And then it's showing maybe some building down to the south and to the southwest. And what I'm afraid of is 2, 3 a.m. See this activity building in from the west and from the southwest, kind of training over the exact same areas, especially in the Blanco County area that was hit so hard already. That's why I think overnight it's going to be less of a severe weather threat, more of a flash flood threat. Yeah,
I would absolutely agree with you, and especially areas like you're seeing in Blanco that
we don't. That.
Yeah, well, we don't even have the right banner for this. Nearly a foot of rain fell in a very short amount of time, and I'd say about a 3 or 4 hour span. That's because the storms didn't move. And when we talk about training thunderstorms, that just means storms that are continuing to put rain over the same period of the same spot and not move. So we call them training thunderstorms. And that's what we saw over Blanco, a training thunderstorm that just didn't move. It sat there and dropped almost, like you said, a foot of rain.
Yeah, Doppler radar estimates, this has actually been doing pretty good in the last few weeks. So, Steve, whenever you get a chance, give me the hydromet from the LCRA and we'll see what they have right now. Okay, he's got it right now, and let's zoom in and that is showing from the since midnight. It's showing at a station just north of the Blanco River, just northeast of Blanco, of over 8 inches of rain. But again, Doppler radar estimates showing that maybe a foot of rain falling just to the southwest of Blanco. And then we've got some heavier pockets around here, far western areas of Travis County, 3.5 inches, maybe near 4 inches, and already saturated soil. And that's why that flash flood warning remains in effect for the metro, for the Austin area until 11:15. That flash flood warning continues for Travis, Hayes, Williamson County here in the KVUE viewing area until 11:15. The one out towards the west for Blanco and Gillespie County in effect until 12:30.
So we're going to continue to watch things pretty closely. Albert and I are going to kind of regroup, get the rest of the weather kind of under control, at least the weather details under control. We'll be back in just a minute. Chris, I think you've got some details on some things that are happening news-wise.
You just told us there was that flash flood warning still in effect in Blanco County. We want to take a picture of the Blanco River just to show you how high the water has gotten. This is from one of our viewers that sent us into spot news at KVUE.com just a few hours ago. It's still daylight outside. You can see just how high Blanco River is right now. Some of those homes looks like they're underwater. The trees, the water hitting up halfway through. So this is again the Blanco River, 8 inches plus of rain. I've heard upwards of 20 inches of rain that have fallen into that river. We also have a look at ATX Floods website. This is live right now. There are more than 91 total crossings closed. You can see a lot of those crossings are closed in the northern counties and then the southwest counties where a lot of this heavier rain has fallen. So remember, those low water crossings, they're not a joke. If you see those are closed, you want to make sure you check those before you leave your house if there is one near you, and turn around, don't drown, because medics are already on call for several low water crossing rescues. We've also gotten reports from Austin Travis County EMS that there is apartment damage to an apartment complex right off North I-35 near Tech Ridge Boulevard. There's no patients yet, but they said they've reported damage from power lines being down. And Christy Millward, our reporter on scene 290 in Southwest Austin, she has reported just west of Nutty Brown Cafe on 290 that it's shut down in both directions because the power lines have fallen on either side. Now, there are no confirmed reports of any tornadoes there, but a friend of mine on Facebook said that they are renting a house out there and that they did have some heavy damage. They're saying that they saw a tornado. Again, no confirmed reports of any of that, but we just got this in from Albert saying that law enforcement reporting that lightning has struck a utility pole near the intersection of Lamar and Breaker Lane with power outages reported there. Austin Energy tonight reporting 20,000 plus people without power. So if you're not getting us right now, that's why. Power lines blown down on North I-35 near where that apartment complex is reporting damage, again near Tech Ridge Boulevard. So we've got Albert, Ramon, and Lynae Miyer in the Storm Center right now, tracking the latest tornado watches and storm flooding. We're going to go over to Lynae in the Storm Center with what we're watching.
Thanks, Chris, for those updates. And that's so important. I mean, things are happening. These storms that move through very quickly. And some of you may have not really been affected, but so many of us have been affected now by these storms that are continuing to push off towards the east. Here it is now moving through Bastrop. You can see that bowing there. Severe thunderstorm warning continues for Bastrop, Fayette, Gonzales, Lee counties until 10:45. This line moving fairly quickly to the east. I'd say at about 35, maybe even up to 40 miles an hour.
Yep, right at 40 to the east.
Right at 40. And again, producing some very strong gusty winds ahead of it. And that's what we call those straight line storms. These are the ones we were looking at earlier when we zoom in and we talk about certain spots now just north of Sun City that we're seeing possibly anywhere between 40 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts coming out. So these are going to be fast, but they're going to be extremely strong. Look at this one towards Taylor. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, right there along 79, just off to the east of Taylor. Doppler radar estimating right about 60 mile per hour winds moving off towards the northeast right now. And you're right, it's these bright pockets that we've been keeping an eye on. We also have possibility of 55 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts now moving into the extreme western tip of Lee County and through Bastrop County. It looks like things are starting to finally calm down in Caldwell County.
It is, but this is kind of a three-pronged type of storm system here. We have the strong winds. We have lots of lightning, intense lightning with these storms as they roll through. Look at this. Oh man, this just so many strikes, probably too many to count. And then we also have the opportunity for flash flooding behind this. We know we've seen so much rain recently, and so it doesn't take much to get water to flow over the roadways. And we once again ask you, please don't drive around barricades. If a road is barricaded, it's most likely for your protection, so please don't drive around that. If you can, just avoid driving at all at night. It makes it even more dangerous, especially as these systems have rolled through after sunset. We really don't know how much rain has fallen, and ATX Flood's a great source to check if you do live near low-lying areas. Albert?
I'm going to put in some storm reports because they're starting to come in. Yeah. And let's just kind of go through these. They're just now coming in. Let's zoom into Austin first. Okay. Because I just saw this on the weather wire. This is a power line blown down at Rutherford Lane near Furnace Drive. That's thunderstorm damage. So that's going to be north of 290 there in northeast Austin, Pflugerville area as well. Power lines blown down at the 10,000 block of North I-35 Service Road. And if you're wondering, okay, where's that at? Let's zoom out. I think the little thingy is wrong. It's more towards I-35. So let's say around I-35 in Ruddenburg. Bottom line is, even though the worst has now moved off towards the east of us, we got more rain, we still got lightning. Right. And now we're starting to get the issue when it comes to the damage. The damage because of these extreme wind gusts are starting to come in. And that's what it is. It came from those strong winds. So I'm not surprised to see power lines down. So again, just another reason to not get on the road tonight. Even wait till tomorrow, maybe till crews get out to clean it up. But once again, kind of on our max storm radar, here's a look at our now radar mode, which is showing that bowing once again of this line of storms, and still some rain falling behind it. So even once that big line of storms move through, the rain isn't quite done. Yeah, here's some of those storm reports, some hail reports coming in at FM 620 at Cornerwood Drive. That's going to be extreme southern areas of Williamson County, just outside of Round Rock, getting reports of some hail there, below severe weather limits. And then there's those wind gusts, thunderstorm wind gusts around the Pflugerville area of near 60 miles per hour. Also that wind gust at Bergstrom of 75 miles per hour with this thunderstorm that is now moving through portions of Williamson County, through the Taylor area, right through Bastrop County, and extends down to the south. One thing I was just looking at, Lynae, you see the cluster of storms then around San Antonio? Right. That's not tracking back off towards the east like what we have in Bastrop County. See how it's kind of going along the interstate? Yep. So that may reinforce not only the severe weather threat, but also the flash flood threat. Some very heavy rainfall coming right along 35. Headed towards San Marcos. And we talk about training thunderstorms. What does that mean when thunderstorms train? It just means they don't move. And so when we see storms that are moving, like the ones we just saw, those are a line of thunderstorms. But when training thunderstorms just stay in the same spot, and that's when we get significant rain totals, like what we saw in Blanco, where we picked up possibly 8, 9, 10, maybe even more inches of rain in a short amount of time because those storms just aren't moving. It's a big upper level low pressure system out west. It's just very slowly tracking eastward. And so it's still keeping energy going. We still have moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. All of these are contributing all the ingredients we need for these storms to kind of hang on and continue to produce heavy rainfall, lightning, and gusty winds. Want to just tell you about a new warning that includes our friends watching in Milam County, including the Rockdale and Cameron area. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning now until 11:30 because of that very strong storm that's coming in out of Williamson County. Though it does look like it, I mean, I hate to say it weakened a little bit, it's still bowing, but it looks like a lot of the intensity, or some of the intensity, has waned a bit. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. It's moving into an atmosphere that is somewhat untapped when it comes to how much. We haven't seen any thunderstorms, so all that activity, all that energy is still in the atmosphere. So we'll see if these storms strengthen as they continue to push east. Still some very strong winds. If we look here, 60-mile-an-hour winds. This is what we can kind of line it up with. Seeing some of those oranges and yellows mixed together. Yeah, that's right along Highway 79 between Taylor and far eastern Williamson County, and Thorndale and Rockdale there on 79 in Milam County. So if you're just now joining us, you're watching KVUE News Night Beat on a Saturday night at 10:17, and what we have it on is Doppler wind mode. And as Lynae and myself have been watching the velocity winds, what we're looking at there are the yellow little hot spots, and those yellow hot spots are indicating 60 or higher mile-per-hour winds, and we're getting ground reports of even as high as 75 mile-per-hour winds reported at Bergstrom here just about 45 minutes ago with this line of thunderstorms that continues to move on in. Got 3 reports to tell you about. Lightning struck a utility pole at Lamar Boulevard and Breaker Lane. That's why there are widespread power outages across the Austin area right now. Also reports of a thunderstorm damage, power lines down at the 10,000 block of the North I-35 service road, so that's going to be North Austin, and then power lines also down at Rutherford Lane near Furnace Drive. So we are starting to see those reports come in. There are thousands, I think at the last check, over 20,000 customers without power here in the Austin area, and I think I saw that about 20 minutes ago, but that number may have gone higher. We want to go to Chris now. Chris has an update from the news desk. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Albert. Yeah, we've got 27,000 plus people reported without power due to Austin Energy. But Christy Millward, our reporter on scene in Southwest Austin, just tweeted out that 290 has reopened in both directions. It had been closed down because of power lines. Again, no confirmed reports of any tornadoes in that area, but some homeowners there calling us, tweeting to us, emailing us that they said they saw heavy damage from what could be potentially high winds and a possible twister. But again, no confirmed reports there. But 290 has reopened in both directions, and we are once again receiving reports of a lot of power lines down. Another one that Albert didn't mention near St. John's Avenue in North Austin, close to I-35 as well. Albert, are you seeing anything else as far as damage reports out in the West Austin area?
Nope, not yet. The severe weather threat is still with us now for areas mainly east of the interstate. And even though this line of thunderstorm is moving east, we've got redevelopment to the south and west of us. So we continue under that flash flood watch through tomorrow evening because of saturated soil over the last several weeks. It's not going to take a whole lot more for additional flash flooding. Let's go to the Doppler radar, and now the heaviest rainfall moving into Bastrop and Lee County. Now, if you're in northeastern Bastrop and if you're in western Lee County, you don't need me to tell you, you folks have seen a tremendous amount of rainfall over the last 2.5 weeks, and you're going to see at least 1 to 2 inches more within the next hour. So we will likely have those creeks that are swollen flood. We're likely going to see those same low water crossings be closed. So that is headed in your direction. And I'm concerned about that cluster of storms. There you see it at the bottom of your screen coming in out of San Antonio. Those aren't moving east. Those are moving up towards the northeast right along I-35 and could hit, once again, very hard hit areas with additional flash flooding. And that's why flash flood watches continue and active warnings right now. Here's Lynae.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, we've seen already several inches of rain in some spots. In fact, I think we have a look at the Pedernales kind of reached flood stage. Do we have that, Daniel? But is now coming down. So if you look all the way to the left of your screen, you can see that it went up. And then this is rainfall accumulation according to our radar. So the radar is saying, okay, over the last 6 hours, how much rain have we seen? And you'll see these darker colors here. We actually don't have those dark colors on our scale up here. So Albert's cueing it, and what we have is possibly up to 10 inches of rain. And that was over probably just about 4 or 5 hours. We just saw continual rain in that one area in southern Blanco County and then stretching up into central. And so that's why we picked up those huge amounts. Great for the lakes, terrible for areas and folks around southern Blanco County where we see those flooding. So that flash flood watch still in effect for the area, and we actually have flash flood warnings continuing for Comal, Kendall, Blanco County until after midnight tonight. I expect that may end up continuing to be advanced even further than that. Blanco Gillespie till 12:30 in the morning, and because sometimes it takes water a while. If we have water up north, it takes water a while to flow down. These may end up being extended. So please don't think that in a few hours, all this water is just going to trend down. We may actually see more streams, more creeks flooding. And so we want to urge you to be just very cautious, especially if you live along creeks and streams and rivers that tend to swell with the amount of rain. This is going to be a night that they do that.
Yeah, and that's that flash flood warning now for Travis, Williamson, Hayes, and Bexar County down to the south in the San Antonio area until 11:15. And let's take a look at the Caldwell County one. That's Caldwell County until 12:15. That's a flash flood warning. And that Bastrop County one and Lee County flash flood warning until 12:45. It's not just the flash flood threat, but there in orange you see the severe thunderstorm warnings. That is in effect until 10:30 for the Williamson County area, and also that severe thunderstorm warning for Bastrop, Fayette, and Lee County until 10:45.
But at this point, no tornado warnings.
Thank goodness. Yeah, no
we
tornado
get a break
warnings.
on that. But the reason these storms are considered severe is because they are producing wind speeds over 58 miles an hour, so close to the 60, even possibly still the 70 mile an hour range in some spots as they continue to push east. So once again, we're kind of looking at Doppler winds. We're saying how fast are these winds coming out, and we're still seeing some significant rainfall, winds from Thrall up to Davila. 59 miles an hour. So again, you can kind of look on the scale here. The red indicates maybe 20, 30 mile an hour wind. The yellow indicates 40, 50, up to 60 mile an hour winds, maybe even some 70 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, now pushing into the extreme western tip of Lee County. There could be some wind gusts around 60 miles per hour. That's going to be moving into the Lexington, Lincoln area very shortly. Also some very strong winds expected, maybe between 50 and 55 miles per hour for the Page area and down into the Giddings area. And then let's take a look at the Smithville area. Wind speeds 50 to 55 miles per hour. And that's kind of the main threat right now, Lynae. It's moving out of eastern areas of Williamson County into western Milam County, out of eastern Bastrop County into western Lee County.
Right, so then our focus now will shift once this severe event ends. We'll be really focusing on how much rain is falling. Where are we seeing rain continuing to fall and produce several inches of rain in a short amount of time? Those are the areas that then we're going to watch on for flooding possibilities.
27,000 without power here in the Austin area. Austin Energy reports because of the same line of thunderstorms producing wind speeds as high as 75 miles per hour. That is what the weather station at Austin Bergstrom International Airport reported now close to an hour ago. And now that same thunderstorm producing a severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Bastrop, all of Lee County and western areas of Fayette County. And that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for that area until 10:45. Also, that strong thunderstorm moving out of Williamson County. As a matter of fact, it's severe. That's moving into Milam County now. And that severe thunderstorm warning for Milam County until 11:30. So flash flood threat, severe weather threat continues. Overnight, the rain continues. We continue to see our high resolution forecast models as Lynae joins me here in the Storm Center that shows additional batches of rain come in. And because of saturated soil, 1-2 inches, that's going to cause some issues.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's going to be where I think our focus goes for the overnight hours and into even the day tomorrow, at least the first half of the day. Hopefully we get a little bit of a break, and we'll try to dig into some forecasting for the next 24 to 48 hours in just a minute.
Okay, so you want to pull up the 7-day here?
You want to pull up? Yeah,
I can do that.
For those of you wanting to know the 7-day, there is good news on the 7-day. It just comes a little bit later. So we have a slight chance for thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow. I think this system is really going to work over the atmosphere, so there's not going to be as much energy left, but I still have left about a 40% chance for some scattered thunderstorms during the afternoon. I think another batch of heavy rain and thunderstorms moves in on Memorial Day, especially during the afternoon and evening. So if you have plans to be out and about or maybe to do some barbecuing, have a place you can go to if a storm moves through your area. The good news is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, rain chances come down a bit. We can breathe. We can dry.
Finally.
Before another round hits next weekend.
Well, let's get a little bit deeper into the forecast. Why are we expecting even more rain into Monday? And for that, we'll go back to Maxstorm radar, and I'll show you the satellite radar composite, not only as we zoom out to Texas, but we'll even show you what's going on across the country. So what we've been tracking for days now, you can see it over the west. We've got this big area of low pressure spinning not too far from Lynae's old stomping ground in Salt Lake City, back off towards Denver, and pinwheeling on the bottom of this low are little disturbances coming in out of the west. And these little disturbances, like we have moving over us right now, interact with not only tropical moisture via the Gulf of Mexico, but also Pacific moisture via some upper level winds coming in out of the southwest. And that, well, that's the ingredients for this additional shower and thunderstorm activity.
Right.
We don't expect that low to move a whole lot over the next 24 hours, and that's why little disturbance continue to pinwheel on the backside of it, and that's why you've got more rain for us on Monday.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So once that system eventually passes by the middle part of the week, that's when we get a break before another one heads this way. And yes, you can blame this on El Nino. This is a little setup.
I was going to blame it on Mark Murray, but if you want to blame it on El Nino, that's fine too.
You can blame it on him too.
Let me show you the radar right now. All kidding aside, still a serious situation for our friends east of the interstate. We have a light to moderate rain now over the metro and also the hill country with a flash flood warning remaining in effect, but it's that strong line of storms moving through Bastrop, Lee, and now pushing into Milam County and now pushing into Fayette County that we could have a straight line wind threat. What we were tracking a little bit later on were spins in the atmosphere. I'm not seeing that right now in our Doppler wind scan here on the Doppler radar. I have no rotation to tell you about in the KVU viewing area. That aside, though, we do have a straight line wind threat, and I've got it right on the border of Williamson and Milam County.
Right. Winds we're dealing with. We're also dealing with flash flooding, and now we have a report in Williamson County in the Liberty Hill area, water over the road on CR 282 and CR 279. So if you live in those areas or around those areas, know that we're dealing with the flash flooding, and we're going to get more reports like this over the the next few hours.
To our producer in the booth, if you can prepare this for us, the atxfloods.com, we'd like to show that here in a couple of seconds. As you get that set up, let's go. Well, there it is. Wow, they are just so quick. 93 crossings now here in the metro closed due to flash flooding. And you mentioned the Liberty Hill area, not just them, but in the Cedar Park area, one in the Round Rock area, and down south into Hayes County. And we'll likely start to see within the next 30 minutes low water crossings closed east of the interstate as this heavy rainfall now moves into places like Lee County and also Fayette County. As you know, you were reporting there just a few weeks ago just how much rain they've had.
And now more on top of that. And that's just it. The ground, I mean, you step outside and you see the ground. It's saturated.
It's soggy.
It's wet and muddy, and more rain on top of that just doesn't know where to go. The ground can't soak it up fast enough. So that's when we see those flash flooding. You know, the atxfloods.com, that's a great website to go to if you have to go out tomorrow morning. We really urge you, if you don't have to drive, then don't. But before you head out tomorrow morning, check that and check your drive. Make sure you're moving through a safe place.
Let's do a little reset. We'll start with the watches that are currently in effect. Flash flood watch until tomorrow evening. We also have here in the pink color that tornado watch that remains in effect until 3 a.m. That includes all of the metro, and that includes our eastern counties now. Eastern counties were included just a little while ago. So we've got that going on, although I don't see any rotation right now. May have a little rotation a little bit later on, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's transition into the warnings, and we'll start out towards the west. Gillespie County, at least the southeast corner of Gillespie County, that includes Stonewall, the LBJ Ranch, my favorite city, Albert, Texas, included in that flash flood warning. That's until 12:30. So here in about 2 hours, it should expire unless we get more heavy rainfall. We'll look at that coming up. Hayes County, Travis County, Williamson County, you're under a flash flood warning until 11:15. And then back into extreme western areas of Bastrop County into Lee County, we've got that flash flood warning in effect until 12:45. And then Caldwell County, your flash flood warning along with your friends down to the south in Comal, Guadalupe, and Williamson County until 12:15. Also, as you want to talk about here, we've got the severe weather threat.
That's right. Yeah, we actually do. We are going to continue to see the threat for severe thunderstorms continue as that line pushes off towards the east. So the severe thunderstorm warnings really indicating gusty winds. Small hail, though, we haven't had any reports of small hail. So I think really the severe thunderstorm warnings will be reflective with the strong gusty winds that move through.
Yep, and severe thunderstorm warnings continue right now. Milam County until 11:30 for Lee and also eastern areas of Bastrop County. If you want to go to the Max computer, that's until 10:45, and Fayette County until 10:45 as well. Here's a look at the Doppler radar, and there's a look at the strong storms that continue to move off towards the east. Right now, not a tornado threat, but a straight line wind threat, and of course, a flash flood threat.
And that's something we're going to continue to track. You're going to be here in the Weather Center. And let's see, flooding over US 183 at CR 212.
Yeah, let's find out where that is.
Water over the road at least a foot. It doesn't say exactly.
I'm going to look it up right now. That seems significant.
So yeah, so basically significant water still ponding. Chris, did you have something?
Yeah, we just actually got a tweet from Austin Travis County EMS, and they've reported that medics are clearing the scene. So thankfully there were no patients that were hurt, but a rollover accident believed to have been caused by a tornado. This is on North I-35 near Tech Ridge. That's where we told you earlier there was reported damage, significant damage to an apartment complex. Austin Fire Department also tweeting out there was heavy damage because of the storms to a U-Haul building up there. So again, no one hurt in this accident, but a rollover, what they believe was a tornado. Guys, you said we haven't had any confirmed reports of tornadoes, even though we were under a warning, but we have had a lot of significant damage, especially out 290 and west, where they finally reopened the road. It was down and closed off because of power lines blocking both lanes of 290. And then now we've got significant damage reported in North Austin.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that may end up being due to straight line winds. A lot of people confuse that with tornadic winds just because when there's damage due to winds, they assume it's a tornado. But most likely for that area, a rollover could have possibly been wind gusts just pushing a car over. We even have reports near Hutto of thunderstorm winds damaging roofs. So
we were just talking about that foot of water over the road near 183. This is in Williamson County. I found it for you. This is at County Road 282 and County Road 279. This is that same storm that you were tracking just a little while ago. That was a tornado threat.
Had a tornado.
Now it's some heavy rainfall, and I can do it accumulations real quick, and this is why we've had some extreme rainfall there, 5 inches just with that one storm moving in. So again, right there along 183, far western areas of Williamson County. This is north of Leander, north of Texas 29. Reports now of a foot of water over the roadway.
And I think that's where most of our outlook is going to be, watching for flooding issues. And we're going to stick with you through the night.
Absolutely. Keep it here on KVUE updates throughout the night.